Welcome back to Transfer to Alps, the podcast brought to you by Alps to Alps. We have fed you, we have housed you, and we have explained the history. Now it is time to actually put the boards on.
Finally, this is what we're here for, isn't it? The reason we put ourselves through the airports and the packing. We're here for that 600-kilometre playground.
It is the largest interconnected ski area in the world. But for a first-timer, or even a seasoned pro, looking at the Three Valleys map for the first time is, well, it's intimidating. It looks like a bowl of multicoloured spaghetti.
It really does. You look at it and think, if I take the wrong turn, I'll end up in a different valley and need a passport to get home.
Not quite a passport, but certainly a very expensive taxi ride. To avoid that, you have to understand the nervous system of Méribel, and that nervous system starts at La Chaudanne.
La Chaudanne, 1,450 metres. It's the ultimate funnel, isn't it?
It's a logistical masterpiece. Almost every major gondola in the Central Valley starts or meets here. You have the Saulire Express taking you towards Courchevel, the Tugnette taking you towards Saint-Martin and Les Menuires, and the Olympe coming up from the valley floor.
It's the junction box. But Liam, for a beginner, La Chaudanne can look like a battlefield. You've got experts flying in from the ridges, kids' classes everywhere, people shouting in 4 different languages. It's intense.
It is. And that is why Méribel's greatest tactical achievement for the 2026 season is the Zen Zone.
Zone Evolution Novice. I love that name. It sounds so peaceful.
It's marketing, obviously, but it works. The main Zen Zone is up in the Altiport sector, and this is the safety net we promised to discuss.
I adore the Altiport. It's such a sanctuary.
It is. Most resorts make the mistake of putting the beginner slopes at the very bottom, where the snow gets slushy and the expert runs funnel in. Méribel puts its best beginner terrain higher up, in a protected, sunny forest.
It's separate. That's the key. You aren't being mown down by some teenager trying to set a speed record on a black run. You have these wide, gentle motorways through the pines.
Runs like Blanchot and Forêt. They are green, but they aren't boring. You're skiing through actual alpine scenery, not just a flat car park. It builds confidence because you feel like you're actually travelling the mountain rather than just doing laps of a nursery slope.
And if you're looking for the people in the red sweaters to guide you through it, you're looking for ESF Méribel.
The Giants. They've been here since the beginning. They are the traditional authority in the valley. If you want that classic, structured French school experience, especially for children, ESF is the logical choice. They have their own dedicated gardens at the Altiport that are essentially a fortress for learners.
It removes the fear factor. But Liam, once you've mastered the pizza and the French fries, and you've moved beyond the Zen zones, the valley opens up.
It does, and that is when you have to start thinking like a meteorologist.
A meteorologist? I just want to ski, Liam. I don't want to forecast the rain.
In the Three Valleys, the sun is your best friend or your worst enemy. If you don't understand the solar strategy, you are going to be skiing on ice in the morning and soup in the afternoon.
Okay, I'm listening. How do we chase the sun?
It's a game of 2 sides, Tugnette versus Saulire.
Right, chasing the sun. I'm guessing it isn't just about getting a tan through my goggles.
It is about the state of the corduroy. Because the Méribel Valley runs north to south, you have 2 distinct faces. The Tugnette side faces east. That means the sun hits it first thing in the morning.
So that is where we head at 9 a.m?
Exactly. You want to be on the Tugnette or the Olympic gondola immediately. The snow there has been frozen overnight, and as that morning sun touches it, it softens perfectly. It becomes that beautiful buttery carpet that makes you feel like a much better skier than you actually are.
Hero skiing. I know it well.
But by 1 p.m, the Tugnette side starts to get slushy. It gets heavy. That is the signal to cross the valley floor at La Chaudanne and head up the Saulire Express. Now you are on the west-facing slopes. They've been in the shade all morning, staying crisp and firm, and now they are coming into the afternoon light.
It's a tactical migration. And if we're talking about hero skiing, we have to mention the motorways. The big, wide open reds and blues where you can really let the skis run.
You're thinking of Combe Saulire.
It is arguably the best blue run in the world. It's massive. It's wide enough to park a jumbo jet on, and the gradient is so consistent. You can find your rhythm and just carve. It feels endless.
And on the other side, you have Venturon. It's a red, so it's a bit steeper, but it's similarly wide. It's high-speed, high-confidence terrain. But the problem with these legendary runs is the crowds. Everyone wants a piece of them.
This is where the local knowledge comes in. How do we avoid the 30-minute queue at the bottom of the Saulire Express when everyone has the exact same afternoon idea?
You look at the map and you pivot to the opposite side. If everyone is fighting to get up the east-facing Saulire side, you look west. You take the Legends chairlift.
But that takes you up the Gauntlet side, towards Les Menuires, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's an alternative route to escape the bottleneck entirely. Legends is a fast, heated six-seater. While everyone else is standing in a humid queue for the Saulire gondola, you are instantly whisked up the opposite side of the valley. From there, you have access to some incredibly quiet, high-altitude reds. Or you use the Olympic gondola to get to the ridge between Méribel and Les Menuires. It's often dead quiet because people are too obsessed with getting to Courchevel.
It's all about the equipment too, isn't it? You can have the best tactical plan, but if you're on beginner skis, trying to carve at high speed on a red motorway, the chatter is going to kill your knees.
This is the intermediate trap. People stick with their learner gear for too long. For the terrain in Méribel, you need something with a bit more bite.
That is where Ski Set Méribel comes in.
They are excellent for the intermediate to advanced transition. You need to ask for their performance or excellence category. You want a stiffer ski that can handle the firm morning snow on the Gauntlet side without vibrating like a leaf.
It makes a massive difference to your confidence. Once you have the right edge hold, you start looking at those steeper slopes and thinking, actually, I could handle that. Once you have the right edge hold, you start looking at those steeper slopes and thinking, actually, I could handle that.
Which is exactly what we are doing next. We are moving from the intermediate motorways to the absolute legends of the valley.
The black runs and the Olympic legacy.
Pack your courage. We're heading for Mont Vallon and the face.
Right, we've had the buttery corduroy and the hero turns. Now it's time for the thigh burners. Where do we start if we want to test our limits?
We head to the very end of the valley, to the big one, Mont Vallon. It stands at 2,952 meters, and honestly, it's the most iconic silhouette in Méribel. When you're standing at the bottom, looking up at that massive, jagged peak, it feels like proper mountain territory.
It's a different world up there, isn't it? No trees, just rock and ice. And the rundown, the Combe Vallon, it's legendary.
It's technically a red, but don't let the colour on the map fool you. It is long. It is steep. And because of the altitude, the snow stays very cold and very fast. It's a 1,000-metre vertical drop from top to bottom. If you can ski that in one go without stopping, you are in serious shape.
I've tried. My legs usually start screaming halfway down near the junction. But it's the variety I love. Those tight turns at the top that open out into these huge, rolling pitches. It feels wild.
It is, but for sheer technical brutality, we have to talk about the face.
Ah, the Olympic legacy. 1992.
Exactly. Built specifically for the women's downhill in the Albertville Olympics. It's on the Saulire side, and because it's north-facing, it is often bulletproof. If your edges aren't sharp, you'll know about it within the first 3 turns.
It's a proper black run. It's steep, it's often icy, and it's shaded for a lot of the day. You see people standing at the top, looking over the edge, and you can see them second-guessing their life choices.
It's a rite of passage. If you can handle the face with a bit of style, you can ski anything. And then, of course, there is the current star of the show, Rock to Fair.
The World Championship Run. They were just here in 2023 for the big one.
It's a prestige run. Skiing a World Cup slope is a different sensation. You realise just how much speed the pros carry. It's steep, it's perfectly groomed, and it's incredibly fast. It's about precision.
But Liam, there's a difference between surviving these runs and actually skiing them. I see so many people scratching their way down the face, looking terrified.
It's a technique issue. The Three Valleys is so big that people tend to just explore rather than improve. But if you really want to unlock these expert runs, or head off-piste into the powder stashes, you need specialist eyes on you.
You're thinking of Parallel Lines.
Specifically, they are a British-run school, and they have a massive reputation in Méribel for their advanced clinics.
They are great for that intermediate plateau, aren't they? When you can ski a red, but a black still feels like a cliff.
Exactly. They do these high-performance carving sessions and off-piste workshops. They teach you how to handle the face properly, how to use your edges, how to manage the steepness. It's an investment in your safety as much as your style.
It makes the mountain so much more fun when you aren't fighting it. But, speaking of fighting, your gear can be your biggest enemy on these technical runs.
It can, especially the boots. If your boots don't fit, or if your rental skis are too soft, you are fighting a losing battle.
Let's talk about the logistics of the kit. The schools, the rentals, and the lazy luxury hacks for 2026.
We have to talk about the physical interface between your body and the mountain. Your boots. Most people treat boots as an afterthought, but in a resort as vast as Méribel, they are your most critical piece of technology.
Oh, I have been there. Day 2, a hotspot develops on your shin, and suddenly that 600-kilometer playground feels like a torture chamber. You can have the most expensive skis in the world, but if your boots don't fit, you are just a passenger in a lot of pain.
It ruins the cognitive connection with the snow. For the 2026 season, the tech has moved on. If you are renting, you need to be vocal. Don't just settle. If you feel a pinch at the shop, you will feel a knife edge on the Saulire Express. And this leads directly into how you actually move those boots. The instruction.
There is a real divide in instruction styles in Méribel. You have the traditional, very technical French approach, and then you have what I call the British psychology approach.
You're talking about new generation ski school.
I am. They have a massive presence in Méribel. What I love about their model is the small group dynamic. In some of the larger schools, you can end up in a snake of 15 people, and you spend half your lesson waiting at a junction for everyone to catch up.
It is inefficient. New generation keeps the group small. It allows for actual coaching rather than just follow my leader. They focus on the why of the movement. And because they are British run, there is zero language barrier when explaining complex physics like edge pressure or weight shift. It accelerates the learning curve significantly.
It makes the lessons feel more like a social club and less like school. But Liam, even with a great instructor, the morning faff of getting a family to a ski shop, it is the #1 cause of holiday stress.
The shop scramble. Standing in a humid room with 100 other people, trying to find a helmet that fits while your children are melting down in their thermal layers. It is a terrible way to start a trip.
This is where choosing the right partner matters. Intersport Méribel is very strategic for families. They have specialised family packages and, crucially, they offer lockers right at the lift base. You don't have to carry the gear back to the chalet every night.
It's a solid logistical move. But if you want the absolute lazy luxury peak for 2026, if you want to eliminate the shop experience entirely, you use a delivery service like White Storm.
Delivery? Like a pizza?
Better than a pizza, you book your gear online, and when you arrive at your chalet or hotel, the White Storm van pulls up. They bring a mobile fitting room to your door. They fit your boots in your own living room, adjust your bindings, and then drive away.
That is the dream! You can have a glass of wine by the fire while someone else handles the boots.
It eliminates the faff. When you wake up the next morning, your gear is already there. You just put it on and head for the snow. It's about preserving your energy for the mountain, not wasting it in a queue.
Preserving energy. I like that. Because as the afternoon draws in and we've skied the Altiport, survived the face and carved the Saulire, we have to think about the escape strategy.
The 4 p.m. panic, navigating the junctions to make sure you don't end up sleeping in the wrong valley.
I call it the Cinderella logic. Because at 3:30 in the afternoon, the mountain changes. It's no longer about the perfect carve, it's about the countdown. If you are on the far side of Courchevel or deep in the Belleville Valley, you have a very narrow window to get back over the ridges.
It's a real risk. If you miss that last connection, you're looking at a €300 taxi ride and a 3-hour journey around the base of the mountains to get back to your bed. You have to know your exit points.
So, if we're in Courchevel and we need to get home to Méribel, what is the magic portal?
You need to get yourself up to the Saulire Ridge using Courchevel's lift system. Usually, that means taking the Verdon gondola and then the big Saulire cable car or the Vizelle. That summit is the border connecting the two valleys. You have to be at the bottom of those Courchevel lifts before they close at 4.
And once you make it to the top of the ridge,
then you breathe a sigh of relief. From there, it's all downhill into Méribel. You can ski the long reds back into the village, or, and this is a great hack if your legs are completely shot, you can jump in the Pas du Lac gondola at the summit and ride it all the way down into motorway.
And if we ventured over towards Val Thorens or Les Menuires instead,
then you are looking for the Platière hub in motorway. That is the tactical gateway. If you can make it to the top of the 3 marches or the Mont de la Chambre, you are safe. But the physical toll of that sprint home is where people get hurt.
Exactly. It's the end of the day, your legs are like jelly, the light is usually failing, and the snow on the lower runs, like the ones leading back into Méribel Centre, is often a bit, well, soupy and full of moguls.
It's a struggle. If you're staying in Motorette, you finish on high-altitude, firm snow. If you're heading to Centre, you're navigating the slush of the Doron Run. It's the final test of your endurance.
This really brings us back to what we said at the start of the season, doesn't it? About energy management.
It does. If you've spent your first day of the holiday exhausted because you took a 4-hour shared bus from the airport and sat in a humid rental shop for 2 hours, your legs are going to fail you by Thursday.
Legs fresh. That should be the motto.
It's why we do what we do at Alps to Alps. A private transfer isn't just a luxury, it's a tactical advantage. It preserves your physical capital. You arrive at the resort rested, your gear is fitted at your door, and you start your first morning fully charged.
It means you can ski the face on Monday and still have enough left in the tank to navigate the Pas du Lac on Friday afternoon.
Exactly. We handle the road, so you can handle the ridge.
But Liam, once we've successfully navigated the mountain and made it home before the lifts close, the day isn't over.
No. In Méribel, the sunset is just a costume change.
In our next episode, we are diving into the dark side of the mountain. We are talking about the nightlife and the clubs.
From the underground bars of the centre to the legendary late-night spots where the real old money and the new wave finally meet.
Put your dancing shoes on, or at least some comfortable boots. We're going out.
Subscribe now so you don't miss the party. This has been Transfer to Alps.
Safe skiing, everyone!
Goodbye.